I'm excited. It's already almost the weekend, says Pata Rankin. Just kidding. You're welcome to Breakfast Central on a Thursday. It's the penultimate day before Friday. And boy, it's been a very eventful and interesting week. Of course, we bring you everything you need to know here on Breakfast Central, the right way to start your day. I am Gbenga. Welcome to the show.
And I'm Joe Hansen, welcoming you to Breakfast Central. Just as Gbenga said, it's a Thursday already, and how a very funny time flies. But then again, how good it is that we are indeed alive. Now, like they always say, as long as there's life, there's hope. And that happens to be the song for many Nigerians who are hopeful that things will indeed turn around for the good, because it seems to be very chaotic in certain districts or areas, especially with the exclusive interview that we had here on News Central with the Reverend. But that's another story for another time. But this morning, we want to officially welcome you to Breakfast Central. As we usually mention, we are online, so you can join us. You could stream on YouTube, Facebook, and equally, you could watch us on X. In the meantime, feel free to drop a comment or two and let us know what you think about some of the very interesting stories that we will be looking at here today on Breakfast Central's News Central program. Yes. Now, back to you, Olive. Good morning to you.
Good morning to our incredible viewers. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. Yesterday was intense. We've seen the memes. Maybe I don't want to say that directly. That's what informed my color choice this morning.
You're inspired by.
You know, I don't want to say that. I'm wearing olive because my name is Olive. But it has been a back and forth of memes, and the social media challenge started on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter and X, with people recreating the scene between the FCT Minister and the naval officer, just basically recreating it in cartoon format and sketch format. And as a result, it would seem that there's a latest update in that regard. But we're talking about all that and more this morning on Breakfast Central. You're welcome to the show. My name is Olive Emodi.
You know, Olive, talking about what happened 2 days ago, I think comedians, there's every profession in Nigeria has once been touted as those responsible for the demise and the decline in societal values. Yesterday, as a result of the videos, because we saw Nas Boy and Cute Abiola, they recreated that video, and you could see comments saying everything is not a joke, that is because of these comedians, that's why society is like this. You know, they blamed lawyers. They said the judiciary is responsible for the rot. Who else have they not blamed? They've blamed journalists for not doing investigative journalists.
So now it's the turn for not...
Pastors.
Yes, pastors.
For not fixing the nation, for praying.
So now it's
the turn of
We've
comedians.
become very, very sensitive, right? And I understand that everything is not a joke, but we are gradually become an extremely sensitive society. Comedy and art, they say, imitates life. And sometimes these are the way. There are people who just go at the end of the day on some of these pages just to have a good laugh. At the end of the day, they're swiping through and they're laughing. And so long as what they're doing is not illegal, as far as we know, we're in a democratic nation, and it's not illegal to recreate a scenario that happened. What should be illegal is the scenario that happened in the first place. But that's a conversation for another day. Gentlemen, how are you?
Yeah, I mean,
well, very well, thank you.
It feels good to be here, like I say. But in line with the situation that happened yesterday, there's an update. And the update simply is that the Federal Capital Territory, the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has eventually slammed a ban on use of mobile phones by staff of the Abuja Geographic Information System. That's AGIS, or what many call AGIS, you know. And he says no more phones. Now, recall that there were different angles to that altercation. It seems like everyone just whipped out their phones and said, this is it. Countdown, lights, camera, action. And they started recording. And that recording, I think, the question I want to ask
I mean, even the minister's aide was also recording. So we live in the 21st century.
No, but he's a journalist. He's a journalist of rescue.
Who's that?
Mr. Larry,
Larry also whipped out his phone and was recording. So my question is this going to affect Larry too? Is he going to...
I think the minister was embarrassed by the leak. It wasn't a leak, it was in the public. And you expect people, okay, there you see.
Okay, so I'm sure he's not going to whip out his phone anymore because his boss has said no more recording.
I don't want to
But it's not part of
memo.
AGIS.
I don't want to
It's not part of the Abuja Geographic Information.
Yeah, well, that means it doesn't stop the journalists as well, who were on grounds to video, to record, because journalists were equally on ground. You had media outlets who were there. Some of the media outlets even covered from his arrival. I don't know if you've seen his arrival. It was
the sirens. You even had outriders
on presidential
bikes.
arrival.
Yeah.
I must tell you, and I mean this is a clear coverage, and this is of course a clear feed. This shows this is a camera shot and not just a phone. So that means that Nigerians shouldn't worry. If the minister said that the members of AGIS, which is the Abuja Geographic Information System, should stop using their mobile devices. Remember that the minister always likes to work with the press, the media. So you can be sure that whatever information is going to pass to Nigerians, the press definitely will be there.
All right, I mean, still speaking about these unfortunate incidents, we'll see that just 2 days after that fiery face-off between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and the naval officer in Abuja, what we've seen is that an earlier message from the Inspector General of Police, Kadi now seems to hit even harder. Gbenga?
Yes, he was talking about the hierarchy of things and that the people should be the first line of defense. He was speaking at a town hall. He was speaking at the Securing Nigeria Through the Town Gown Partnership Conference at Lagos State University of Education. Ijanikin, the IGP made a striking point, saying Nigeria's first line of defense isn't the army, it's the people. Then today, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, added fuel to the fire, assuring that any officer acting on lawful duty will be fully protected, despite the altercation with the FCT Minister, with both statements colliding on the airwaves. The question now is who truly holds the power, the civilians, the uniformed men, or the tension between them? Interesting.
Now, take a look at this statement. Chief of Defense Staff says every soldier has an element of madness, for while the right-thinking man withdraws from danger, a soldier charges towards him. What do we make out of this?
Because
is there training?
Because they are. I think from certain quarters, there were expectations that those in power will be able to, those in power will talk to will talk in favor of the minister. That's what it was almost looking like. That's what many expected. But many are now saying that, oh, this is not looking that good. It's like people are talking against, people are in support. I think Nigerians need to really understand something. And Gbenga, I know you highlighted that. Was it yesterday or so? Was it you? Listen, these are trained officers,
professionals. Yes.
They have their line of communication. We also highlighted it here as well. And bringing sentiment into the fold that because you have a minister who works in the cabinet, therefore all who have been appointed to serve the country should therefore lie and support whatever the minister has done.
Who don't have a direct line of command with the minister.
Yes.
And they're in two different branches, completely different branches of government. So how do you explain that? And the middle point is respect. And that's why we emphasize, okay, at that higher level of the minister, he would be in a better position to talk to the CDS or the Chief of Naval Staff at the top level. And there will be some form of respect. But having said that, respect permeates all strata of society.
Absolutely.
So regardless of status, there are ways in which you could talk to people. Even in the Nigerian Navy, his senior officers will not address him that way, even in the same Navy. So respect begets respect. And that's the genesis of all of this.
Yeah.
If the minister had not used those words, if he hadn't talked to him in a condescending way, I don't think that the tables would have turned, or the discussion will be completely different.
Okay. Anyway. I mean, I think we may have overflowed this matter, but let's go to X and see what Nigerians are saying about it.
Omoyele Shore says, from the same man who completed his service in the Nigerian Police Force but had his tenure illegally extended, denying others their rightful opportunity under the rule of law. From the same officer who deployed armed police to shoot at defenseless minors peacefully protesting during the #EndBadGovernance in Nigeria demonstrations in 2024. From the same man who ordered police prosecutions to charge minors with treason in 2024. And he goes on to say, a barbaric act in any democracy. From the same man who prompted unqualified officers based on personal relationships and turned the Nigeria Police Force police engine into a tribal organization where only his kinsmen are rewarded with juicy postings. From the same man who abuses his office to settle personal scores instead of upholding justice and professionalism. That is, and he goes on to call the IG of police. Well, this is Omoyele Shore's response to the statement made by the IG of police. And that is his opinion. But he says that he's not taking it. He's not buying it. He's buying his statement. Daniel Rega says, police officers, are they educated or showing signs of discipline? Let's start from there. The first line of defense is its people, sure. But the same people the police tear gas during peaceful protests, the same people the police harass non-stop, extort and assault at every given opportunity. The same people who have been victims of accidentally discharged bullets from power-drunk officers, the same people the police has failed to protect. How many police officers know what education means? You have bigger issues to worry about. More reactions coming from the IG.
That's typical Daniel Rega.
Yeah.
Nafisa says, self-awareness, they cry. I have never in my entire life met a disciplined police officer before, not even one. It's like an unwritten rule to be unfortunate. Half the Nigerians in the diaspora left the country because of you people. One or two experiences with the Nigerian police. That's what Nafisa says. This one's a bit much. Let's see our next tweet. It says, and when the people don't trust the police, then your biggest challenge is a lack of trust. I went to VI police station to report that I was robbed of my phone and needed to make an entry. The first thing the lady at the counter asked was, so what you go give us? I weak. It was when I mentioned that another senior police officer asked me to meet her boss that she directed me to the person.
Can you imagine?
I mean, no sign of empathy. We've had people that just got in accidents, robbery, and I mean, that's just typical.
The IGP speaks of education, discipline, and unity. Admirable words, but detached from Nigeria's current reality.
Fact.
In as much as I agree with a few of his points, one must ask, what infrastructure has been strategically developed to ensure a safe and functional environment for learning? Speaking of discipline, how disciplined are those in power, including the police, who should exemplify the highest standards of conduct? Instead, they've become serial violators of the very laws they swore to uphold. As for united by rule of law, the political class has done more to destabilize this nation than anyone else, weaponizing tribalism, religious bias, and hate whenever it serves their personal ambitions. A nation cannot preach integrity while rewarding impunity. These quotes should be directed at those in power, not Nigerians. Until leadership begins to embody the discipline it demands, such statements remains beautifully worded contradictions. That's what Ebitu
Beautiful
said.
statement there from Ebitu Promise. Edo Wizard, what's her name, says Wike will see camel and he will run.
Yeah,
this is not the first time he's been showed pepper by the military. He narrated his worst days as governor when a general showed him pepper. He said he saw the same general at the defense office and he refused to visit there.
I remember that story. I remember the story very much. He mentioned that.
Pickup says give Northerners their flowers and accolades when it comes to protecting their own. Data boys, our market. We have seen the difference between first-hand citizens and betrayal.
Which one is data boys again?
The one I know is Banga boys. They were referring to
Banga boys who tweet things to trend.
Yeah, apparently,
Even when
sadly
it
on
doesn't make sense.
X was referring to Wike's essay as a data boy.
Who was referring to him?
No, people
people on X.
push narratives through social media.
Because
so you
of
need
that
data.
recorded scene, and they said,
Interesting.
now, wow, Nigeria.
Now we are talking. I knew he got serious backing. His godfather will protect him. Nigerians will stand with him. I will support him. This hand already looks like
let's quickly mention here for those who are joining us, just to mention very quickly, if you're wondering on which side Nigerians belong concerning whether they are against or for either of the two key figures in the entire altercation, well, from us here at Breakfast Central, we've done a quick review and we looked at it very closely. When it comes to the FCT minister, for those who are for him, the percentage is very low, very low. And for the naval officer, for those who are for him, apparently on social media, it's high.
Yeah, but then there's the law and the constitution, constituted authority.
That's it.
What does the constitution say? There are those that believe that we're encouraging impunity, that people that support the naval officer are encouraging impunity, that the place of military personnel and soldiers should be in the barracks,
and not protecting
private property. But having said that, the chief of naval staff, the former chief of naval staff, as part of his entitlement and part of his retirement benefit is that is entitled to protection by Navy personnel. It happens.
Absolutely.
So as that eroded is he still entitled to it when it extends to property? Because he has a right to order.
There's also that's one angle.
That's a very key angle, Gbenga, because I do remember a naval officer I know, apparently he even stays close to our former office. It's not far off from there. Till date. He's been there for years. Till date, you still have officers. You find them around there. They just walk around his property. But then again, I saw another narrative in line with what you just said. And someone said, when you have someone who has been confiscating and holding and taking over properties, what were you expecting the naval officer, retired naval officer, to do? To just open his doors and let the person still come in?
Oh, the person has a reputation.
Exactly. So I also saw that narrative as well.
So
you would take the necessary steps to ensure that, listen, I do this. But in all of this, we're saying, like Oliver, and I mean, you guys have mentioned, I think the best thing to have done was to speak to the top.
Exactly.
And the other angle to this is they will tell you Section 1 of the Land Use Act, and that Section 1 vests the Land Use Act in the governor. But then again, that will now birth the further argument. Is Wike the governor of the FCT? The FCT does not have a governor. Yes, you say Section 1 of the Land Use Act, that all lands belong to the governor who holds it in trust, for the city.
Yeah.
There are also those that said this same military that you people are supporting, are they not the ones, the Air Force officers that went into Ikeja IKDC to flog people because they disconnected their lights? Now be careful what you support and be careful what you wish for.
We support things when it's convenient and support the narrative.
Let me read one to you guys that hit me out of the tweets, because sometimes I will take the tweets, we'll also look at this one. Said, doesn't it sound ironical that a civilian who aided the military takeover of his state under a civil administration would be heard complaining that a military man is breaching his civil rights?
Irony.
Just let it sink deep. Let it sink deep. And it's not about us trying to, as journalists, we're neutral. We're trying to look at it from all angles.
That's why we're putting it out.
Yes, and I decided to pivot through this one. And it hit me hard. I was like, wait, that's true. Because a few months ago, Rivers State, as we remember, the governor, we all know the story, was no longer there. You now had a former to run the state.
I don't hold brief for the FCT minister, but the answer would be there are different issues, that you're comparing apples and oranges.
Gbenga.
Okay, I think we'll start on this story too.
If we go to the constitution,
it's almost
on that issue too.
It's almost time up.
It's
almost time up.
It's time up on this.
Because even that issue is contentious.
Gentlemen, let's move to our next story. Joe,
let's move to our next story very quickly. All right. The next story has got to do with a questionable video that has surfaced as well. It's got to do with one who is known to be very outspoken. I'm talking about Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, who in a video recently revealed a shocking truth to many Nigerians. Now, he said Nigeria has been making payments to terrorists. He didn't hide his or mince his words. Speaking during a press briefing in Abuja, the former Senate minority leader called it a national shame, saying such actions reward criminality and undermine the courage and sacrifices of the nation's armed forces. He urged the government to focus on intelligence, law enforcement, and justice rather than appeasing violent groups, warning that buying peace from those determined to destroy the country only weakens national security and endangers all Nigerians. Let's take a look at this video for a second.
When bandits kidnap children and the state rewards them with amnesty, what do you think we have? We have lost whatever morality we have. When soldiers are killed in ambushes and in organized skirmishes by bandit terrorists, whatever name you call them. And the killers are rewarded with integration. What do you think that is? It is a state that has lost its morality. Because every state is built on a foundation of morality, which is justice and equity. In other words, if you commit a crime, you pay the price for that crime. And so, where does that bring us to? It brings us to a point where a nation that rewards terror will one day find that terror will take over power in that state. Because you're not punishing terror, rather you're rewarding them. And when you pay a kidnapper, all that you have done is that you have sown the seed for the next kidnap, because he will continue to do what he's doing. In 2015, in the inception of this APC government, I was the minority leader in the Senate, which meant that I was officially the person in opposition. And I continued to shout and cry. And I said then that rather than confront the evil before it, the government preferred to deal in propaganda. And I made a quotation that those who live by propaganda.
Now, here we have it again. Remember that just a few months ago, we had a sitting, current serving governor who had said that he understands and knows where the bandits are, where they live, and so on. Here is a senator who is also stating clearly that he is aware and he knows that payments are being made to these insurgents. But then again, many would say that he is an embattled senator, or many would say that he's an outspoken one, guys. I remember that in 2024, just last year, he was a very strong critique of the late President Muhammadu Buhari, and he never minced his words when it came to talking about insecurity. And one of the key highlights I remember in one of his statements was that he did say that before the national identity number was used, or was being used in Nigeria, there was a time where he was arrested by the DSS. And he asked them, how did you arrest me? They traced him. He was driving in Abuja, and they found him, and they came and arrested him. And they said, why are you arresting me? How did you find me? And they said, it's easy to find you. We simply just tracked you. And he has been one of the persons speaking tough and saying, we have NIN, we have BVN, we have everything. Yet monies are transferred to kidnappers, insurgents. Can't you trace them?
There's something called geotagging. We're not even
Yes,
using
he talked about that as well.
The technology. And it's right. And I think this whole non-kinetic started is the beginning of the reason why we find ourselves in this way. Because you're applying kid gloves to something so serious as terrorism. These people, in their right mind, they weren't hypnotized. They have every sense of reasoning. They committed these offenses, very grievous offenses.
Let's not just call it offense, let's call it crime.
Crime, and that is true. Crimes, grievous crimes, serious crimes, murder, looting, stealing, displacement of people. And then just because you don't, for one, I can't even justify it, you integrate them, you call it non-kinetic approach. Meanwhile, their victims are there. They're still in IDP camps, struggling to get their lives together. And that's the height of injustice. And until we remove those kid gloves and deal with terrorism head on, let them know that it's a life and death issue, we will continue to have incidents like this.
I don't think there's anything else I need to add to it, because Gbenga has really hit the nail on the head, right? It is what it is. We're not treating it with the seriousness that we are, and I think it's unfair justice should be three. We should have a multidimensional approach to justice, and we should look at it from three perspectives: for the perpetrator of the act, for the victim of the act, and then for the state. So yes, the state can say, oh, this is a good measure, we are trying to keep the peace, but is he really keeping the peace? And are the victims of this case, do they feel like this is justice for them? A person goes to bed in their house, wakes up in the IDP camp. Why? Because some persons or group of persons decided to bomb the community, bomb the houses within that region. So they become homeless, and they're homeless for years. And after a while, in fact, they lose family members and loved ones in the course of this attack. Then this person who carried out this crazy criminal offense or this crime then decides, you know, I've repented. Repentance is for God. Forgiveness is for God. But there's a price to pay, because there are people who have not yet, they've not been able to get over the effect of these actions. And our government must start to treat it as such, because as much as they think that it looks good, it's a non-kinetic approach, it's a very, very unfair approach for the citizens. It's very unfair to the victims.
Like Russian President Vladimir Putin said, he said, my job is God's job to forgive terrorists. Yes. My job is to send them to him.
And then even in life, I mean, take a look at Newton's law of motion, the third law. For every action, there's equal and opposite reaction. So there's whatever you sow, you reap.
And you know, because this whole non-kinetic thing started under the former administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, and because Nigeria is a complex country, and they saw how the presidential amnesty improved oil production and ended the restiveness in the Niger Delta area. But that's, I mean, they were kidnapping, they weren't killing, they were bombing oil installation. I'm not saying
they were not killing,
they were not people, wiping out entire communities and just really like wanton madness. So the Buhari administration thought, okay, this is a good approach. Let's balance it, since we gave them amnesty in the south. I mean, they're totally
I'm so glad
different
I mentioned this, because this is also what I wanted to add. That if you're saying that, oh, these things, the truth is, you must ask yourself, this action, has it affected another person? Has it cost someone their peace? Okay, even their lives. People have lost their lives. The fact that they are taking lives, they're killing people. You made a decision to carry a bomb into a certain area. You made a decision to carry guns and go and kill people. There are consequences for these actions.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. Let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly concerning this particular mention or statement made by the senator. When the people in power start negotiating with terrorists, everyone else pays the bill. Hard truth is, you can't build any lasting peace on the foundation of fear and incentives of violence. Ooh. But outside military intervention only masks deeper failures at home. No country gets saved from the outside for free. Nigeria's leaders need spine, not shortcuts, onto the core. Issues are faced head-on. This cycle will just keep repeating no matter who threatens what. Please, what did they say? How did they say it in Gen Z?
Clock it.
Clock this tweet. That's a very powerful message in terms of responding to the video. This man has been in the corridor of power since 1999 as a deputy governor and senator subsequently. What has he done for his people? I'm trying to correct his tweets. What has he done for his people aside hot takes and Nnamdi Kanu sentiment? Show me his project. Well, this is not the topic.
Please, in Gen Z speak, what is hot takes?
Hot takes.
I have to translate English for us now.
Well, hot takes would be okay for your generation, I understand.
Yes.
Hot takes is like sharing your opinion on something. Yeah, so it feels like everybody has a hot take. Everybody has an opinion on this.
So on Wake Up Conversations, we also share our hot takes.
Exactly.
Well, I've learned a lot today. Clock it and hot take.
Clock it.
Take that to the bank. That's on period.
Anyway, that's pretty much all the story we're going to take today on Wake Up Conversations. Don't forget that you can be part of the show by dropping a comment or two. We're streaming live on YouTube. You can also watch us live on Facebook, and you can watch us on DSTV, GoTV, and Star Times.